The next two sessions are going to be about neuroendocrine, the neuroendocrine research. Is that okay now? All right. This two sessions in which we decided to focus the research component. It does not mean you did not hear about the research, whether you knew or not. Dr. Asa in the morning did talk about her research. But we just decided, Maureen and I, that last time we had a good idea to focus few talks, very small talks, only focused on research. Research tends to be a little bit nerdy subject, so I have asked all the speakers, all the 6 speakers, to make it very simplified so that everybody understands. And let's go on to the, do I have the control on the slide? Yes. So the question that we asked, and I think this is on behalf of the CNETS Canada that I'm talking, Maureen asked me to give a little bit of an idea. What is the activity of research in NET? Why is it required? Why does CNET Canada decide to support the research activity? So what's important to understand is that research is the one that will lead to better diagnosis, it will lead to improved therapy, and it will lead to molecular characterization of NET. I don't know if you noticed it, but most of the talks that you heard are really related to the fact that your disease has to be diagnosed and treated. Have you even heard anybody say anything about what could be the causes? Very few references were made to the actual cause. Why does a normal cell in your body decide to become cancerous? For many other cancers, this aspect is being very actively explored. You must have heard about the BRCA gene and what happens in the breast cancer or many other diseases. In case of carcinoid neuroendocrine tumor, we don't know a lot. We know a little bit. You heard the reference to some of the genes implicated, but we really don't know. So this is not going to come when you examine a patient who already has a disease. It is going to come with the fundamental research. So we need to have research going on at all levels. How to improve the treatment that you're getting, how to diagnose your disease better, and how to figure out what's wrong with this disease. Why does it even come along? And in that respect, one of the mandate of CNETS Canada, and I know most of you who are members of CNETS Canada know this very well, is to support the NET research. It is one of the mandates of this organization. And very recently, Maureen Coleman, president of our organization, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Cancer Research Society of Canada. So together, CNETS Canada and Cancer Research Society of Canada will support grant research, the research in NET. To do really that job, we decided to set a goal for ourselves last year that we will raise $60,000. And I'll come to the number, why $60,000 in a few minutes. But how do we go around collecting? There was no government body. You already heard how government is reluctant to support any rare disorder, and this is that. So it is a lot of volunteering work done by people like you who are sitting over here. They went door to door, asked people to donate money. So there were lots of donors who gave money. There were many of you I know personally over here who went around walking, jogging, bicycling, swimming, and asking their neighbors and their sons and children or daughters and parents to donate money. In that respect, I really admire many of you who did this kind of activity to collect the money. And of course, there are some of us who are professionals in the field, and we contributed to all our expertise for free. So in this respect, CNETS Canada surprisingly reached the goal of collecting $60,000 in a matter of few months last year. But the question is, how do you spend the money? You have to spend it very wisely. You could not take your $60,000 and go to one researcher and say, here, I give you money, show us the result. It doesn't work that way. It's very difficult for a volunteer organization to decide who to give the money. So the next thing that CNETS Canada and the board decided together was to go to an organization which has a pedigree, a history of distributing money in a wise fashion. And this is that organization we chose for this year. It's Cancer Research Society of Canada. What first thing it does is it makes our $1 become $2. When we put $60,000, they put another $60,000 on the table. It became a $120,000 grant. It has a more than 50 years of history in supporting cancer research in Canada, and they are open to any cancer you talk about. So we said that we want to support cancer research in neuroendocrine tumor, and they said, fine, as long as you put the money on the table, we will help you. And how they help is that they have a mechanism by which they invite the grant application. That is really, on paper, you write your project, you explain to learned audience that is going to be made up of clinicians and basic researchers. And they are the ones who have to be convinced by your written project, what will you do with this money? The only precondition in this case was it has to be neuroendocrine tumor, neuroendocrine research. And so they invited these kind of applications in the last fall. By this June, I understand that they have received quite a significant number of applications on CNET's research. So we are hoping that there will be at least one grant by end of 2010, which will be starting the work. Hopefully it will be a new project in CNET's research. The general idea is that this way we will spread the word around that more research should be done in case of neuroendocrine. And on behalf of our organization, CNETS Canada, I would say that we are open to the idea. If any other organization is willing to give us similar support, we will be wanting to do this in future as well. So having done the pitch for my organization, let me go to the session on research. And now, so the research session that, sorry, am I doing it right? Yeah. So this session is going to have 6 speakers, including myself. We will have Joy Ardley, who will be talking about, and she's from, I don't need to introduce, you already know who she is. And she's going to talk about circulating markers and prognostic indicators of NET. The next speaker will be Dr. D. Herder from Erasmus, the endocrinologist from the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam. He's going to talk about in vitro receptor work and how they can be used in the research that they do on that subject. Tom Odorizio, who you have heard already several times today, is the endocrinologist, and he's from Iowa City. He's going to talk about the most interesting subject that I'm looking forward to hearing. It's about possible mechanism of neuroendocrine tumors, chemoresistance. I don't know if you noticed it, but this tumor, description of neuroendocrine tumor or carcinoid tumor, if you looked in medical textbook 10 years ago, it would have something like 20 or 30 pages of chemotherapy. If you look at the book now, it has only 3 pages. Why? Because it is really turning out to be that conventional chemo is hopeless, and we need to have more and more ideas how to make it more effective. So if we can figure out why there is a chemo resistance, this will be a great advantage to us. Then, of course, I will try to modulate the time depending on, since we are running late, I will see what I can talk about and how long I will talk about. Some of you heard me a few months ago. So I'll just add a little bit extra, but my general theme would be that I do a lot of animal work and in vitro tumor cells work, and how these models can be used in trying to figure out the disease resistance to drugs, or what are the genetic markers that would be useful in treatment of the disease. Then there will be Dr. Winnick, who is the endocrinologist from Norfolk, Virginia. You also heard in the morning. He's going to talk, and this is something very interesting again coming up, is some of the antibody-based treatment, or there will be some of those small molecule-based treatment which target specific pathways inside the cells, such as mTOR in this case. And the last talk, and last but not the least, is going to be Dr. Waltering, and he has warned me that his talk is going to be most interesting about how we should all be not doing what we are doing as we are doing now. And he's going to give his opinion in his inimitable style that what is new in the research, and are all your tumors same. So I'm looking forward to all 6 speakers, and without much, I will now invite the first speaker. Joy, we would like to hear you.